Yo, you now tune in to another episode of 10 Toes Down podcast. Got my boy Shaka L. Bay, co-host in the building.
That's right. We outside, inside.
And right now, we gonna go uptown to the boogie down.
Let's go.
To the Bronx. We in the South Bronx to be exact.
Let's go.
I got my man Zoe from Conversations with Zoe in the building. The hottest podcast in New York City right now. You know what I'm saying? You see everybody in there from Mayor Adams to Jim Jones to your favorite porn star. Whoever you're looking for is in there. You know what I'm saying?
They did.
My man is a jack of all trades. He's also a philanthropist. He's also a dean at a local high school. So he's giving back to the kids. So we gonna touch on everything, man. So first and foremost, brother, I know you're a busy guy, man. A lot of traffic getting here, so we thank you for taking time out to pull up and even grace us with your presence, first and foremost.
No, thank you so much. You know, shout out to my publicist, Montana,
yes,
putting this together.
Yeah.
But, you know, it was a smooth ride here. You know, God got us here safe and sound, and I'm happy to be here, so thank you for having me. First
and foremost, man, I like it that when you talk about a lot of stuff online, man, you always mention the Most High, man. So
absolutely.
You know what I mean? How important is God in your just your day-to-day life and how you maneuver?
So I always knew that God was the plug. And now, where I'm at in my life now, I'm making sure that everything I do is with him. Feel me? So I don't want to, you know, because they say the term like selective politics.
Yeah.
So I want to make sure that I'm not selective. I make sure that I include him in everything.
That God is a plug. I'm taking that. T-shirts coming soon, by the way. Right. I like the way you worded that. All right. I see also that you're real big on family.
Yes.
So how was your upbringing coming up? Because on one level, you, the Bronx is the Bronx, and you got a lot of crazy stuff going on. But you seem like you come from a solid background. So how, you know, just describe your upbringing. Man,
I was raised in a two-parent household. So shout out to my mom and my dad. You know, I lost my dad at 22, and I just lost my mom this January.
Sorry to hear that.
So solid human beings, though. And as a parent myself, I see their sacrifices. You know, I give them a lot of grace because they the first generation of trying to figure it all out. You know, so for me, where I'm at now is because they gave me the platform to do what I need to do. Educate myself, you know, do different things. Obviously, God helped me do other things with baseball and other educational opportunities. But, you know, it was, my household was solid, you know. It was crazy sometimes, but I think now I'm dwelling more on the positive because of how everything turned out. And I'm super grateful for my parents.
How important is the foundation of having a two-parent household?
Man, it's super important because you need both of them, you know? And so to live with both of them is super important. I know my dynamic has changed a little bit, but as far as my upbringing, man, my dad was everything to me, you know? And having him, you know, as a black man in the South Bronx, you know, Afro-Latino came later on. That wasn't really a thing in 1996, whatever.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? So, you know, just seeing everything come full circle. You know, I tell the youth, sometimes you just got to live a little. You know what I'm saying? You may not see it now, but, you know, live a little and you'll see it. You know, so all of that was a part of my foundation. They sacrifices. My father, you know, really, really putting on. My mother, everything she did for the household, putting us together. But most importantly is the morals. You know, the morals, the character, the principle, how they carried themselves. Like, my parents weren't suckers at all. For me, so that's why I don't have it in me to be a sucker at all.
You know what? I couldn't understand that because on a couple levels, because you know I lost my mom when I was 15, and I lost my dad when I was about 22, 23, and my mom was sick for like half from 9 to 15. My mom was sick or whatever, so it was kind of like but the little time she was here, it was a certain moral character that she gave me, and then my dad followed that up with the discipline. But it was the discipline was love, and it was protecting you because they knew that what was good for you when you didn't know what was good for you.
Right.
And you don't understand that at the time, but then you get older and you go through life experiences, you realize, damn, them niggas was right about everything they were saying. You know what I'm saying? So describe, because the South Bronx I know that I grew up in was the South Bronx before it was built up. Stray dogs that, running around. So describe for those that don't know what's like growing up in South Bronx around that time in the mid-90s.
So I learned from a very young age to stay in your lane. Mm-hmm. I'm an observative learner. Mm-hmm. So I don't got to go through it to respect it. Mm-hmm. I can see it and I respect it for all that it is. I see dudes get jumped in. I see my older brothers get jumped in, mm-hmm. different things. And to be honest, I never felt comfortable with it. So being a street dude was never in me. And I knew that from early. So that's why I never gravitated to it. I never glorified it. I never emulated none of those guys. So, I only tried to mimic people that I saw myself in. Feel me? So athletes, people doing good in school, things of that nature.
You knew what you wanted.
I knew what I wanted from young. And I knew that all of that stuff came with things that I didn't have energy for every day. Because that's energy, right? Being a tough guy is energy. You know what I'm saying?
And the good thing about it, too, is you were able to learn from their experiences and didn't have to really go through the turbulence that a lot of people go through, even when they know they're doing something they shouldn't be doing. Mm-hmm. But they have their own twisted logic about it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And then you able to just go, okay, I don't agree with that. I'm going that way. And a lot of times we don't realize that is the easiest thing to do.
It's easy to do the wrong thing. It's hard to do the right thing.
Right.
Right. But what I'm saying is it's also easy to kind of, when you see somebody doing something they shouldn't be doing, and you know the difference between right and wrong, and the way things kind of have a certain type of karmic value on it, you just go left. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And you out the way.
And that's what I knew. I knew to stay out the way. Mm-hmm. I knew not to partake in things that didn't serve me, mm-hmm. if it was none of my business. And I had no problem going home. Mm-hmm. I wasn't feeling I'm going home. I'm going to holler at y'all. Mm-hmm. And that was it. You know what I'm saying? Because that's when you end up in situations you don't belong in.
That's a fact.
You know what I'm saying? So,
that's a fact.
Bullets got no names.
Facts.
And all that aggression out there, a lot of hungry, honestly, a lot of it is hungry children too. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, dudes that ain't eat, dudes that they going through it at home.
That's a fact.
And their confidence is not built at home. Their confidence is built in the streets. Mm-hmm. So hood morals will have you doing things that don't serve you. Mm-hmm. For me, I actually wrote about this yesterday. Hood morals will have you feeling like you're supposed to sleep with every girl you see. Mm-hmm. And that don't serve you. Mm-hmm. Hood morals will have you thinking that, I'm too good for a 9 to 5. Mm-hmm. Right? And then hood morals will have you thinking that emotions are supposed to rule your life. And they don't. You know what I'm saying? You have to be a master of self. Fact. So all of these crash outs that we see, that's people that can't control their emotions. Mm-hmm. Feel me? I had a situation today, somebody said something to him and he hit him. Like, where we do that at? Mm-hmm. You feel me? You didn't have to hit him. So what in you made you feel like that was okay? That's hood morals.
Yeah. And where did you think that was going to resolve the matter? You know what I'm saying? Because now you hit him, this person might feel like, okay, now I want to return the favor. So now we got a whole situation going on, and ain't nothing but chaos after that.
And turn into people understand that a lot of times it's just the simple things that end up with people getting killed over stupid shit. Most of the times over stupid shit. Right. Like, especially in this day and age, you'll see people will see things transpire, and instead of telling their man, yo, come here, man, and pulling them to the side or whatever, they'll let that shit go to something else. And then this dude stabbed this dude, somebody gets shot, and it's like, yo, y'all could have deaded this 20 minutes ago by just pulling them to the side instead of tearing them on or pushing them to go ahead and, like, a lot of conflicts could be avoided by just one or two simple things, man.
Yeah, but
nowadays, because you got social. This phone is a drug. It's the biggest drug in the world. It's the biggest asset and the biggest liability all in one.
Yo, for real, because a person, you got 911 on speed dial, but instead of that, they go hit the camera.
They gonna watch you bleed out, literally.
And now,
you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean?
They doing it for the gram or some stupid shit, you know, and it really, it's just like,
it's crazy.
What
so
kind
now,
of society we living in?
For you, right? How important was baseball also to help you avoid all that?
Man, baseball saved my life because I was so focused, especially when I got good. You know, shout out to Coach Fitz, shout out to Coach Bill, Coach Brissett.
What high school did you go to?
So I went to Ohio High School for 2 years, and then I went to boarding school for 3 years.
Okay.
So I went to Suffield Academy in Connecticut.
All right.
So I was living in Connecticut pretty much in high school and college. But yeah, baseball had me out the way. You know what I'm saying? We had a crazy schedule. We played about 5 to 6 games a week during the summer. So we played Wednesday, Friday, and we played 2 games on Saturday, 2 games on Sunday. Mm-hmm. And I played in Brooklyn, where we at now, in parade grounds. Mm-hmm. So I never had no time to be involved in nothing. Mm-hmm. You know, dudes that try to be hybrids between street dudes and athletes, it never works out. You know what I'm saying? And even if it does work out, you get to the NBA and you crash out, right? Because your foundation is the hood, the street stuff. You know what I mean? Your foundation isn't solid to be like, all right, cool, I made it, and now I'm gonna adjust to where I am now, right? You're just gonna think that you could keep doing the same thing, right? Because your circle didn't evolve. You got God put new people around you, but you don't value those people, right? You want to stay stuck on the hood morals. So baseball for me was my saving grace, and I loved it. It took me around the world. You know, it took me from the South Bronx to tournaments in Westchester to Jersey to Oklahoma to Florida to Texas to then, you know, playing baseball overseas.
So describe that experience going overseas playing baseball. Man, different culture, different everything.
I think the biggest thing from that is that, you know, sometimes it's delayed gratification. You know, things won't happen when you want it to happen. And the best thing God did was let me grow up first before he gave me my biggest blessing. Because had he gave it to me when I was in college, when I wanted it, I wouldn't have been ready, because at that time I was getting my grades together, I was working, I was becoming more financially independent, and then I lost my dad. But if I had baseball when I wanted it, I wouldn't have been ready for the loss of my father. Because if you look at it from that retrospect, I wasn't dependent on him anymore. Because from 18 to 22, he was sick. So all them years, you know, me selling nutcrackers in college, doing all that stuff, me trying to figure it out. I ain't had it hard to sell drugs, you know what I mean? So nutcrackers that was me, you feel me?
Facts.
That's why you gotta stay in your lane.
Stay in your lane.
That was me, you feel me? So, you know, that was the nutcracker era, and we had a great run. I had a really great run. And I got off with a slap on the wrist because they just had me do a week of community service. And they sent a parent letter home, which I got myself, and I threw it out. So, you know what I mean? So, you know what I'm saying? Nobody ever knew nothing. But at the end of the day, you know, even something like that, you do a hustle you feel comfortable with, something you can resonate with. I never smoked weed in my life, so I can't tell you if it's gas or not. I'm saying I give a sample to my mans and be like, yo, what's up? Gas. All right, cool. Gas. And that's what I'm telling you. It's from the Heights. We in Connecticut. You know what I'm saying? That's all we talking about, but I can't really tell you myself. But this liquor though, yeah, it's hitting. Feel me? All the way. You feel me? I got 7 flavors. What's up? What we talking about? Want to do a deal? You know what I'm saying? So, man, baseball.
Stay in your lane, like you said.
Stay in your lane, you know? So baseball came me out the way, man. It was the best thing that happened to me. And it taught me a lot of transferable skills, you know what I'm saying? So as far as being on time, being punctual, doing the right thing, it's crazy because I was talking to a good friend of mine, but I was telling her, like, what's going to help you in your situation is the thing you do on your own time. You know what I'm saying? Like, practice is 2 hours, 3 hours, right? We get 24 hours a day. So what are you doing on your own time to get better at your craft?
You see, what you have is something called organization and structure that not a lot of people have nowadays. So we're going to fast forward to you working into the schools, right? First, what inspired you to go ahead and become a dean? And second, what were the things that you noticed right away that the youth was lacking?
Right. So I feel like we got to go to Conversation with Zoe first, because that was like that segment. That was the segue or the bridge into me being a dean and all of those things, right? So I made Conversation with Zoe. I created Conversation with Zoe when I was overseas playing baseball, right? So now baseball is my full-time job. Like, that's what I'm doing for a living. I get paid for it. So I got a lot of more downtime. So then that was when I wanted to put more positive content out there, right? Really speak from the heart, really give game to the youth and people of all ages, but mainly the youth, and primarily the hood too, because like I said, the hood mentality, you know, if you never grow up out of there, you're gonna be 40 doing things you was doing when you was 15, right? You're still gonna glorify sneakers, you're still gonna be on the block, you're still not gonna be a good father, you're still not gonna help you be a mother, all kind of sucker shit, you feel me?
Fact.
And in the hood, we promote a lot of sucker shit, and we condone a lot of sucker shit, which is, to me, it's like, that's whack, you feel me? So who's gonna be the person that's gonna stand on it 10 toes and be like, yo, that's whack? Like, I'm not jacking that. Feel me? Because if it was whack, it was whack. Feel me? We're not going to tell you something else. You know what I'm saying? So, Conversation with Zoe started. COVID happened. I started interviewing people. I started working with my, like, inner circle, people that I knew. And I knew a couple of people at that time already. And then it kind of was a spider web from the people that they knew. Okay. And it kind of just branched off. And then emailing people, networking, and you know, it just blew up out of nowhere.
So you go ahead, you start the podcast during COVID. When do you know, like, okay, nah, this bad boy picking up, it's about to get lit for me?
I would say when I interviewed King Tone.
Okay.
And that's like a hidden gem. That was like episode like 114 or something like that. But, you know, he got an HBO special. He has a whole Vice special.
Yeah,
so to interview King Tone.
For those that don't know, King Tone is the former leader of the Latin Kings in New York.
So that was a really big deal. And me and King Tone hit it off. You know what I'm saying? And I was more into the reformative part of the interview than like all that. We didn't really go into depth of
past.
Because we don't want to glorify that stuff. But I just want to show a changed mindset, right? Because we all need to evolve in our mindsets and things like that. Because we think one way at 20 and you should not be thinking the way at 30.
That's a fact.
And even at 25, it has to evolve. And we're supposed to evolve. And then even us as black and brown people, we have to champion evolution, right?
Yeah,
we should be proud of our brothers and sisters. Like, you doing better. All right, you worked at the register at Gap, now you're the manager. We're supposed to champion that. But we kind of make each other feel bad. Like, oh, look at you. You think you better. You think you this, you that. But that's people's insecurities.
Facts.
Right? That doesn't come from a place of, like, really hating on you. That's just like, damn, I'm not doing shit.
A lack of knowledge of self.
Right.
And that's all where that comes from.
Lack of confidence, like you said, a lot of things.
And the good thing that I like about your approach on it is because one thing that I see now, and we've talked about this on different occasions, is that at some point there was there's a gap in generations. Like, when we were growing up, we may have had older dudes, even the dudes on the block doing what they doing that were older than us, the OGs. They would drop game on us. They saw some of the potential in us, and give us like guidance to some degree and say, look, man, don't do this. You know what I'm saying? You're this, you're that. You can be better than what we are. But now, like you said, it's either a self-hate or a insecurity. You know, it's or it could be a mixture of both, because people want to kind of be something, but the problem is they don't take time out to, like you said, live life. You might find yourself in living life. You know what I'm saying? And then you can start to go from there. But if you don't really take that first step, your feet is planted on the block. And when you do take your step, you've been there so long, your imprint of your feet is going to be in the concrete.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And you're going to realize, damn, I was there that long? Hell yeah, nigga.
Wasted a lot of years.
You know what I'm saying? 20 years went by. Your feet still in the concrete. And you mad at your mans in them because they saw something better in themselves.
Right.
You know? And I like the fact that, real quick, I like the fact that you're bridging that gap to kind of let the youth know, listen, man, you are a lot smarter, you're a lot greater, you're a lot more inquisitive, you're everything you want to be. You got to see it. I see it in you. Right. And that's what we need sometimes, is someone to tell us that, you know, we not bad.
Right. Mm-hmm. The thing is that everybody in this room come from the era where if you wasn't like that, they wouldn't even let you be down.
Right.
Go, yo, do me a favor, go sit over there.
Yeah.
Get from around me. You in the way. Get from around me, bro. So now they letting suckers in the business.
Yeah.
Right?
That's a fact.
So that's the main thing going on. Mm-hmm. I done seen dudes try to walk over and like, yo, do me a favor, don't come over here again. I'm gonna give you this one pass, but do me a favor and stay over there.
Right.
For me, I say what up to you, but mind your business and stay over there. But now they letting everybody be down. Like, if there's no strength in those numbers, because you letting a whole bunch of sheeps in,
Yeah.
and then you know he not like that. He get pinched. He become an R&B singer in court, and now we all going down.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Come on now. So that's coming from Sidewalk Zoe.
Facts.
Yeah.
I know. I'm telling you. And I'm telling you, it's way better over here. Casualties happen. It's the hood. We going home. We at a party. Certain things happen. Yeah. But I'm telling you, the energy you leave your house with is going to find you. And I ain't never leave my house on no bad timing.
Fact.
Never. I never left my house to cause nobody harm, rob nobody, do nothing to nobody that I wouldn't want done to me.
Right.
So if that's the kind of time you on, then that's the kind of time it's going to find you. So that's why I know God favored me, because I ain't never have a bad heart, and I ain't never want to cause nobody no harm. So baseball kept me out the way. This podcast is putting this great message out there. I have a lot of notable people echoing the same message because they're sharing their story, and we get into it from their perspective, but also amplifying it, because now those who know, those successful people don't got time to be committing crimes and doing dumb shit outside. We trying to get to it. We trying to educate. We trying to collaborate. You know what I'm saying? That competition thing is at the bottom.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Collaboration is at the top. We all trying to build together. And I knew that this platform was going to take me, once I really figured it out, that I could leverage the people around me to get next to other people. And then now people watching and they DMing me. And now they asking me to come on the show. And I'm doing my homework and I'm delivering a great product every single time. So Slice of Excellence came when I became a second grade teacher at Success Academy during COVID. Okay. So I'm 2 years into the podcast. The podcast wasn't really buzzing like that. But the work that I put into Slice of Excellence, I put that right into the podcast. So I'm like, okay, cool. Got to be outside a little more. Got to network with the people. Got to make sure the quality of the content is great. Feel me? What I'm showing in the visuals. But I learned that through the nonprofit, and I applied it to the podcast, right? But Slice of Excellence was me trying to raise my scores up.
That's what I heard. Not trying to cut your wisdom. That's when I first heard you. I didn't even know you had a podcast.
Right.
I saw you. You was at Giovanni's over there on Prospect in Westchester or whatever, and you was buying a bunch of pizza pies for the kids.
Shout out to my son Dice. Me and Dice was there.
You know what I'm saying? Dice was there. Also, shout out to Dice.
Shout out to my son Dice.
That's when I first seen you and seeing what you was doing. So when I first started seeing stuff circling around with you, it wasn't the podcast. It was Slice of Excellence.
Yeah.
And I think it was one other joint. I don't know if y'all was giving away sneakers or haircuts.
Yeah. Both of them.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So I'll break that down too. So shout out to my construction company I used to work for, Latia Construction. They sponsor the haircuts for the kids every year.
Copy.
So we usually do back to school haircuts, about 100 kids at a school. And we got 10 barbers that come through, and we did graduation haircuts before, and now we usually do back to school haircuts. Make sure you look good, feel good on your first day of school.
Yeah, that's fire.
And then pick a teacher, pick a sneaker was a wild dream that I had, right? Where you nominate your favorite teacher and you go sneaker shopping together, right? Now, I used to live on LES for like 4 years. I bumped into Fat Joe and Rich the Player in front of La Casadela. Then I told Fat Joe the idea. And then now we do it up on YC every year. So that was actually something that's like a true story. Like our dad bumped into Fat Joe in the street. And I told him about it. And 7 months later, or 6, whatever months, 5 months later, in November it happened.
Got me.
Our first ever teacher pick a sneaker at up NYC. And we've done it 3 times every year.
Beautiful, man. Beautiful. So the community, you're doing that, you know what I mean? In the process of doing that, you're dealing with people from the community or what have you, and you're making a great contribution. Like, what more do you want to do as far as like taking that to another level?
Man, I just want to, God got to be in it first.
Of course.
And I just want to make sure that I honor him first. Feel me? Because he amplified everything that I've been doing. If it wasn't God's work, it wouldn't have went nowhere. Feel me? But the fact that I wasn't fully faithful, but he knows that I was honoring him through the work that I was doing. Now imagine if I stand 10 toes down with God and do Slice of Excellence. That's what's going to get it out of here. And so it's more the intangible things that's going to make it amplify. Because everything else is written already. Feel me? I'm going to figure that out along the way. But what do I do want? I want like an all-purpose center. Feel me? I want like a 70-yard turf. Feel me? Where, football teams can come. I see kids in Harlem, Bronx playing lacrosse now. So they can have different practices on the weekends. Classrooms where you could have like barber class, nail salons, all those things. Like we could have guests, trades come in, trades and things like that. But then we also have a study hall as well, where we could have tutors come in on the weekend. So I want this to be like a 24/7 all-purpose kind of thing, where kids could come. There's podcast studios, there's recording studios, and the city has tons of funding. Feel me? So this is not like, it just takes a person that's actually gonna do it, right? Because all of these things will serve the community. Y'all, I ain't gonna hold you. We're gonna have a boxing gym. Y'all wanna run a fade? Go ahead, right here. We're gonna have it structured. We're gonna have nurses around, but get that out because
get your little 3 minutes in.
Get your little 3 minutes in. You need that. Sometimes certain situations do warrant a fade. Yeah. I'm not even gonna say violence.
Right.
A fade,
friendly fade.
I understand a friendly fade, right? And there has to be in a certain setting, and us as OGs and grown men, we could control that setting.
Facts.
Feel me?
I agree.
But we also have restorative circle after that, where we're gonna sit down and we're gonna talk. Because 9 times out of 10 it was a miscommunication. You know how many people be putting the battery in people back? People be lying. Things be happening. Montana was telling me something about her niece earlier today. Like people just honestly just wanted to hit you, right? But they had to find a reason. So they made some shit up and they hit you, right? But it wasn't really based off something you said because you sitting there confused. 9 times out of 10 people were confused in the video. Like, what did I say to you? I don't know what I said to you, and bam. But we have to grow. Right? That's how it goes. So we have to grow past certain things. And I know in the hood, we glorify a lot of dumb shit. Yeah. You feel me? A lot of that stuff is very low vibrational. A lot of things that do not serve you. You know what I'm saying? And by the time you realize so much time has passed and you haven't really evolved, you still in the same position at work. You kind of jogging in place. You 45, living with your moms. You feel me? You think it looked good on Instagram, right? Because he eat crab legs for breakfast, right? But that's EBT crab legs, and you live with your moms. Fact. So are you really that lit? Not really. Nah. You feel me? And as a man, how do you even look at yourself, right? You don't even give your mom $400 a month, $500, nothing, right? Feel me?
Nigga only pay for Wi-Fi.
Right. And then your first apartment you inherited because Mom Duke's passed.
Now you know what?
And you end up losing that apartment in 18 months.
I gotta channel the goddess Kia because our other host, she's not here today. And shout out to goddess Kia. Now, one thing that also has to be addressed, and it's almost like the elephant in the room that people act like they don't see, is mental health.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And even with the youth, we find that the youth are dealing with so much more peer pressure due to societal demands and lifestyle desires and things that are so far-fetched, for lack of a better term, that it creates a discord in a person's mind. So when they're out there, they're trying to damn, the fucking term just left my mind, but you know what I'm saying. It's
right.
like they're trying to
emulate a reality that's not really fitting for them.
Yeah.
Right. It's not really them, but this is what everybody else does.
Perception.
Right. It's their perception.
Perceptions.
So you said a word, desire.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Now I ain't gonna hold you. It's only been like 2 weeks, but I've been learning the difference between love and lust. And boy, oh boy.
Man, let's talk about it.
When I tell you,
let's talk about it.
Lust will have you doing shit that don't serve you.
Facts.
Around people.
Yo,
boy.
Listen, and all of you simps out there, this might be a hard lesson, but it's one you got to hear.
Yeah.
So our brother Zoe is going to tell you all about it.
Listen, man.
Preach.
When I tell you, when you see the difference and you see the energy that you put into things and people, places and things, right? That's coming from a place of you have no real emotional attachment to it, and going back to the hood mentality. Well, my big brother told me this. I was 16 years old. Wrap it up, fuck them all. That's what he told me. So I was like, all right. That's shout to Kev.
That nigga gave you. He's like, listen. I'm gonna give you the best game you won't ever need. You know what I'm saying? And I'm telling you, you gonna thank me for it later.
Yeah. That's what Big Bro told me. Wrap it up, fuck him off. If I called him right now, he'd say it, like literally. So that's what I went thinking that's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
But even now in the stage that I'm in, right, I don't want to be outside. Because I know I don't need to be exchanging energy with people that I have no good intentions for. Right? I know I'm gonna be saying things I don't mean. And I know you're gonna catch feelings for me and we're gonna exchange this energy in bed and that's gonna be it for me. Right? Because I know it's gonna sound a little heinous, but it's like there's a difference between bitches and the girl you really love. Like, you feel me? Like what Jay-Z said, I was just fucking them girls. I was going to get right back.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, you know what I'm saying? Another hood nigga mentality, you feel me? But that's how it goes.
To elaborate a little bit on what you're saying, and sisters, you may not want to hear this. You may not like what I'm about to say, but it got to be said. Men have that disconnect. Like we can kind of step into something, step out of it, and go, "Thank you very much."
And be
pleasure,
okay.
Pleasure.
Lose no sweet whatsoever.
Women have more of an emotional connection. So sometimes, no. I mean, we're not talking about the women who might get paid for, or women who psych themselves up.
But you talking about the hyenas
and start talking. They convince themselves that they don't need that.
Hyenas are different though.
Now, but the thing about it is this: even those women are doing it for a purpose, and that purpose is so superficial that they're not going to feel fulfilled after a while. Right. You can have all the money in the world and have all of the material things in the world, but if you're not in a situation where you can share your time with somebody, you know what I'm saying? You could build with someone. You know what I'm saying? All of those endeavors and all of those bodies that you getting are not going to really amount to nothing. You're going to be really, really empty. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And that's where I say where the women, are different in that area than the men are. It's just kind of what it is.
So we got to give Zion Williamson a little bit of advice over here.
Yes.
Because he's Captain Weirdo to me.
Yeah, I don't know what that boy got going on, man.
I mean, I know that's his stepdaddy, or whatever. But
man,
you know, that's lust. All of that is lust.
It is, man.
That's the perfect example. That's all lust right there. He got the bag. Never really had girls like that. He's not the best looking guy, but he always been in position. He's been in position.
He's been in position
right?
for quite a while.
Because in his high school highlight, he went to Duke. Now he in the league. He doesn't have a person that he respects more than anything. Right. That's gonna be like, yo, bro, do me a favor, go sit down.
Bugging the fuck out.
Bugging out. Because time and time again, every time he hits the tabloid, it's worse and worse and worse. And that's a man that has everything at his disposal. At his disposal, at his feet. So that's a man that never really got girls like that. Nah. You could tell. And now he's trying to, you know, because even if you look at his baby mom, no disrespect, and like the other porn star chicks, it's like, how'd you go from that to that?
That's crazy.
Like, I don't get it. But all of that is lust. And he don't know that none of them women serve him or favor him. And God is from the furthest thing from that situation.
They just
And God gonna find a way. God always gonna find a way to humble you one way or another.
And you know how he's gonna be humbled? When he's not in the league no more.
Facts.
And he's on his way out.
He's on his way out. That
he's not worth the headache no more.
Listen, no, he's more of a liability now. Like all of his efforts, and you could tell.
But that explains why he can't stay on the court, because you too busy. Right. You too busy your dick over the place off the court.
Right. You too busy slinging over here, you ain't slinging no baskets.
Nah, they got one job to do, man. That's it.
You got one job,
that right there. Keep it in your pants. You know, really build with somebody. You know. And
let me segue into this marriage.
Right.
How important is marriage?
As a mentor.
I can't say too. So I'm not gonna speak on it because it's still fresh.
All right.
But I'm doing it with God.
Copy.
Feel me? Me and my partner got to be evenly yoked.
Copy.
It can't be no, I'm here and you over there.
Mm-hmm.
Nah, we got to be on the same type of timing. Mm-hmm. Feel me? Because even biblically, right? Mm-hmm. God gave Adam Eve for companionship, to build with, to keep him company, right? And the words of baby boy, you know, you my rib. Feel me? Like you came from me. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, it has to be one of those things where we are heading in the same direction, but you talking about this triangle orphans, right? It's God, me, you, and God, right? And God at the center.
Of course.
And that's the only way it's gonna go for me. And that's non-negotiable. Because I'm not compromising myself no more. I'm not, it's called a non-negotiable for a fucking reason, isn't it? Right?
Fact.
So why I'm negotiating with your ass? Feel me? This is the way it's gonna go. And if it's not gonna go that way, it's over. That's it.
We're not even gonna talk about that. It's like, it's nothing to talk about.
You
with me or you not? You know what I'm saying? And that has to be the mindset of a lot of brothers out here, because we are too easily pulled in multiple directions that we are not grounded. And sometimes when you're grounded properly and you got someone that's riding with you, sky's the limit. You know what I'm saying? You just got to be focused. Right. You can't be out of focus and doing the Zion.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying?
And that just comes from just decision making. You got to make decisions when it comes to things like that, man. And poor decision making will set you back. And the right woman could mold you. The wrong woman will restore you. That's just how it is. That's life. Period. You know what I'm saying? And that's I don't. You know what I mean? I don't. I got my own problems. I ain't gonna get into it. But so now the podcast progressed to the point where it's like you're starting to get these different people on here, and more notable people. The May Adams of the world.
Shout out to Monk.
You know what I mean?
That happened because of my guy Monk, Iron Monk.
Shout out to him. The Jim Jones of the world.
Shout out to Dice. That's how that happened.
Yeah, shout out to Dice Peso also. Neat Bucks, and just different people, what have you. So when you start,
shout out to Billy. That's how that happened.
Copy. So when you start getting to this level, what's the feeling now? What's the attention? What's the energy?
I got two things. Some gotta pay and some don't.
Copy.
That's where we at now.
Copy.
Feel me? So for the artists that are trying to figure it out, and you don't really know what Conversation with Zoe is about, but you want to be on there because of who you seen on there.
Copy.
And we both know that.
Copy.
So let's just do business. Transactional. It's cool. I understand why you coming here. But then, there's certain people, I'm not going to charge Chris Brown. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's nothing to talk about. The fact that can happen, and I'm in negotiations or whatever it is, that we figuring it out, I got to fly there, whatever, and that's that. You know what I'm saying? But overall, you got to move. Listen, you have to move me before I even get in that room. Feel me? Because I got to do homework. Okay. I can show you my Google Docs right now of my homework. I literally sit down and do homework. I call it homework. And sometimes it's 30 minutes, sometimes an hour. Sometimes it's like multiple days of like going back and forth from the Google Doc. Sometimes I see somebody I want to interview and I start doing homework. So that's why certain people could reach out to me. I'm like, I'm ready.
Yeah.
Like I've been doing homework for months.
Facts.
Like I've been watching you for months. So if I'm gonna move from my house to interview you, you don't have to convince me. I was already convinced before I left my house. So it's more of a movement. It's more of a feeling. It's more about impact. As you can see, a lot of the things that I talk about are like intangible, not really tangible things, because it's a mindset, right? That's not tangible, but that's in here. Okay. You know what I'm saying? So everything I want is to continue to keep the quality high and keep the message going. Feel me? So people have reached out to me to say salacious things about other artists. We don't do that.
Facts.
Feel me? That's street shit. I'm on the sidewalks. Feel me? I also know that I be outside, so I don't need your mother, your brother, somebody that love you to see me and be like, "Oh, this is what you said about bro." You feel me? So that's the beauty of coming from where I come from, because I understand all those.
The parameters.
You feel me? The logistics, the hood rules, the corporate rules, all the rules, I respect them all, regardless of where they come from, because those are the rules. And I'm black and white about those. I'm not gonna negotiate what already is. I already have a great understanding of what that is.
Man, before we go, brother, tell the people what's on deck for the rest of the year for Conversations with Zoe.
Man, with Conversation with Zoe, we got more interviews coming. We got a lot of surprises coming as well. There's a lot of things that are in the works that are coming together. But most importantly, we're going to continue to empower the youth. We're going to continue to spread love. Anything God give me, I'm going to give to you. You know what I'm saying? I don't hold water. There's no gatekeeping over here. Anything I can do to help, I will. And that's what we're going to keep doing, just spreading the good word.
And for people that want to donate to Slice of Excellence, how can they donate? Where can they go to donate? Yeah,
so sliceofexcellence.org, our website, you can donate there. Right. Our Zelle is sliceofexcellence158@gmail.com. Okay. And you can always reach out and collab. If you know somebody, if you work corporate, right? All corporate companies do corporate giving at the end of the year. So all you got to do is nominate me, and I'll do the rest of the work. You know what I'm saying? I'll do the meetings, I'll do the pitch, all of those things. Okay. And it really don't cost you nothing. All you got to do is go to HR and nominate me. It's really that simple. For all T-Mobile, whatever, any corporate company, they all have corporate giving. And they all do the big Giving Tuesday. So as you can see, there's a lot of social proof by what I've been doing. And I'm a rich man in faith, so I'm rich already.
Man, I like how you ended that.
That's fire. That's fire.
So, you know what I mean? On that note,
you got some gems tonight.
Yeah, so I definitely did.
Be sure to tap in with our brother Zoe.
Make sure y'all follow Conversations with Zoe. Subscribe, like, everything.
You know what I'm saying?
Man, another one.
Yeah, another one in the books. And anything that's going on, 10 toes down is definitely going to support and encourage along with you, because we want to kind of change the narrative with the following generations. We have to set a better example.
Yes, we do.
You know what I'm saying? So that's what we're about. So appreciate you, brother Zoe, coming on. You know what I mean? And another one in the books, my brother. We did it. 10 toes down.
10 toes down.
Y'all know what it is, man.
And we are out of here.
Let's get it.
Appreciate you. Thank you.